Author and playwright George Bernard Shaw once made the following observation. He said, "This is the true joy in life, the being used for a purpose recognized by yourself as a mighty one, the being thoroughly worn out before you are thrown on the scrap heap, the being a force of nature instead of a feverish, selfish little clod of ailments and grievances complaining that the world will not devote itself to making you happy." The true joy in life, having a strong sense of direction and purpose. This is what I'd like to talk about this morning, developing just such a real sense of direction for our lives. In our text today, as we continue our study of the practical teachings of the book of Proverbs, the author makes a very simple claim. In the traditional King James Version, it goes like this. He says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." Now, on the surface, this would seem to be a fairly clear, fairly obvious statement. The writer is emphasizing the importance of sight to life, that when you have a hard time seeing, you're going to be in trouble. And anyone who has ever misplaced their glasses or tried to drive the car in a dense fog like this morning, or simply stubbed their toe in a dark hallway while making their way to the bathroom at night knows all about this one. Where there is no vision, there's trouble. But is this all that this text is about? Simply some ancient ad for lens crafters? No, of course not. It's important to note that the word vision here is not normally used to refer simply to sight in general, but rather to the ability to see beyond just the near and the immediate. That is, it's the ability to see greater, grander things, particularly the things of God. The word is often alternately translated as prophecy. It's insight into the divine vision, the bigger picture of life. This is what is meant by vision. To put it another way, what the writer is really talking about here is just how crucial it is to have a sense of the greater image of the larger scheme of life. More specifically, to have a sense of divine direction and purpose to one's life, to have that kind of vision, to not just live, but to really know where you're going. As the great philosopher Yogi Berra once said in one of his unique yogiisms, if you don't know where you're going, you might not get there. Right? It's too true. And this being a fact that's proven all the time, all around us. We've all undoubtedly known people who never seem to have any sense of direction or purpose in their lives, and despite so much that they may have going for them, we've seen how they just sort of wander aimlessly, and even more often they struggle greatly. While conversely, we've also known those people who may not have as many gifts, but have this strong sense of mission and purpose in their lives, and how they not only do amazing things, but also seem just to be able to weather the toughest storms of life much better. As one scholar writes, most people's lives end in ruin because they have no aim. When a ship does not know what harbor it is making for, no wind is the right wind. Such it is with many individuals. Those who have no central purpose in life fall easy prey to petty worries, fears, troubles, and self-pitying, all of which lead to failure, unhappiness, and loss. Many people experience only a fraction of life's potential because they haven't decided what they want or where their life is going. I just want to live day by day and see what happens, is a common approach many people unknowingly take to life. But quality of life does not happen by chance. A fulfilling life begins with searching for and clarifying your reason for living, your life's purpose. This can turn your whole life around. You know, I once heard a fellow preacher say that most of us live our lives, the way we live our lives, are kind of like that guy, remember at the circus, who spins the plates, on the tall poles, right? He gets one going and then another, and by the time he gets like the number 15, number 1 starts to fall over, so he runs back to get that one, right? Runs constantly, it all begins again. Many people live their lives exactly this way. They have a lot to do, but no overarching meaningful purpose to it all, and that's why they suffer. They're constantly running around, they're exhausted. Do you ever feel like that way about your life? Like you're just running around frantically spinning these plates, To have vision, a sense of direction and purpose that guides and motivates, unifies and invigorates your life. It's just so crucial to successful living, and it's a key biblical concept. Very clear. We are not here just to kill time, right? But rather that God has a purpose for every person's life. So how do we discover our purpose? Well, I'd like to offer a few starter thoughts this morning on exactly this, on discovering your purpose in life, on living a life of vision. 3 thoughts. First, look at what is yours alone. Many centuries ago, a Greek philosopher offered these words. He said, "You cannot choose your calling. Your calling chooses you. You have been blessed with special skills and experiences that are yours alone. Use them, whatever they may be, and forget about wearing another's hat. A talented chariot driver can win gold with his skills, but let him pick figs and he would starve." This is the starting point. What is yours alone, right? Each one of us is unique, a combination of strengths and weaknesses, gifts and failings, victories and hardships, unlike any other. There's no one else like you. And this is where you begin in finding your purpose in life. You see, most people make the mistake of trying to find their purpose in life by looking to what other people are doing or have done and trying to recreate or to copy that somehow. Particularly, we tend to look at what the great people around us or from history have done, and we figure that somehow, if we're really living lives of purpose, then we have to do those same kind of things. But nothing could be further from the truth. God doesn't need us to recreate what anyone else has done, because God obviously already came up with somebody to do that, right? God needs us to offer what only we can, what no one else in the world can. Look to whatever is unique to you, yours alone, good or bad, and make use of that. This is where we begin. Maybe you're a really good listener. Put that to use and make it the center of your life. Trust me, it's a rare commodity, right? Maybe you're a hard worker. Be that person who always gets things done, who stays at the task when everybody else wants to give up, right? Maybe you're faithful. Maybe you're artistic. Maybe you're creative. Maybe you're a person who can encourage others. Maybe you're just plain caring. Use that. It may be something difficult you've been through. Maybe you've been through a divorce. Maybe you know the pain of grief. Maybe you've battled some disease. Use what you know about that experience, which others don't, to help others who are going through the same thing. It's like a Candy Lightner, who in 1980, on the death of her daughter Carrie to a drunk driver, found her purpose and her whole reason for living in establishing Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. Find whatever is unique to you and center your life on that. Quit doing what anyone else can do or has done, and do what only you can do. There's an ancient Hasidic tale, a story told by the Jewish teachers, that tells of a very devout rabbi named Zusia, who died, and he went to stand before the judgment seat of God. And as he waited for God to appear, he grew more and more anxious and nervous, thinking about his life and how little he felt that he had accomplished. He began to imagine, that when God came, that God was going to ask him, why weren't you like Moses? Or why weren't you like Abraham? Or why weren't you like Noah? But when God appeared, Rabbi Zusia was greatly surprised, for God simply asked, "Why weren't you Zusia?" Understand, none of us is here by accident. This is a key concept. You'll hear this from me a lot. For each of us, you are not here by accident. You are not in Hazlitt, New Jersey, at St. John's United Methodist Church in the year of our Lord, 2017, by accident. No, you have a unique gift to offer that only you can offer, that God and the world so desperately needs. Believe that and intend to live it, The first step in finding your purpose, a vision for your life. Look at what is yours alone, what you have to offer that others don't. Then from this, secondly, look at what moves you. A philosopher once said, "Life does not consist in what a person possesses, but in what possesses him." This is the second step in finding your purpose in life. Look at what grabs you, what possesses you, what moves you. A true sense of purpose always entails a sense of enthusiasm or a passion for the subject at hand. The two are inseparable, purpose and enthusiasm. Find one and you will find the other. In fact, it is exactly this great passion for life, entailed within a strong sense of purpose, that makes just such a sense of direction for one's life so powerful, Simply put, it drives you through life no matter what, and can bring you through all sorts of obstacles, which a person who lacks this kind of passion never acquires. And this is precisely what God wants for all of us, to be this caught up in life, this alive. Sadly, too many people every day, they settle in their lives for devoting themselves to a lot of stuff that just doesn't move them at all. Things for which they have no passion, no enthusiasm, often not even the slightest interest, right? It's tragic, and it's why life eludes them. But I can tell you exactly why so many people do this. It's because they're afraid. Right? We are all so often truly afraid to live. You see, there's a great big risk in really getting caught up in life, in really caring, in really giving, in being grabbed by life and possessed by it. It's the risk of being hurt by it, of being burned by it, you know. So a lot of people, instead they sort of settle for this sort of bland, middle of the road, nothing, never get hurt, but unfortunately also never really live. Well, I don't know about you, but I'd much rather live, It's like Will Rogers humorously said, "Lord, let me live until I'm dead," right? And that seems kind of obvious, but it's actually a great prayer. Lord, let me live until I'm dead, right? What moves you? Maybe it's some interest or topic or problem that excites you. Maybe it's some skill or talent or gift that you possess that fulfills you like nothing else. Maybe it's some brokenness or pain or injustice in the world that causes your blood to boil or your heart to break. Whatever God's calling to you in that, calling you to life. But you've got to be willing to commit yourself to it. Too often we are moved, but then we don't get up and move, right? Life is only truly found in what moves you. Life is only found where there's enthusiasm for it. There's a story that's told that one day General William Westmoreland was visiting a platoon of paratroopers in Vietnam, and during the conversation, the general asked this question, how do you like jumping out of planes? And the first paratrooper responded, I love it, sir. Well, how do you like jumping? The general asked the next soldier. It's a fantastic experience, sir, exclaimed the soldier. I couldn't imagine not doing it. Well, how do you like it? Westmoreland asked the third. Well, I'm scared to death, sir, and I don't much like it, the third soldier honestly replied. Well, then why on earth do you do it? The general inquired. Well, because the third soldier answered, I just love being around guys who love it, You see, this guy knew life is only found where there's enthusiasm. Go seek it. Go search where that's around and get in on it, Get with that. What moves you, right? A great scholar once said, we act as though comfort and security were the chief requirements of life when all that we really need to make us happy is something to be passionate about. Where your deepest desire and the world's deepest pain meet, there's your purpose. You got that? Where your deepest desire and the world's deepest pain meet, there's your purpose. Find what moves you and give yourself somehow to that. Live with great enthusiasm. Throw yourself into things, and great things will happen. Author James Hewitt offers the following example of a man who had a real zeal for the Lord and what happened, and he writes, he was not too well educated, and his manner was rather crude and rough, but he became a Christian and was on fire for the Lord, and he believed every church member should be as well. He constantly pestered his pastor to help him be of some genuine service to his church, to be used by the Lord greatly. In desperation, the pastor finally gave him a list of 10 people, saying, these are members of the church who seldom attend services. They are prominent men in the city. Contact them any way you can and try to get them to be more faithful. Use the church stationery to write letters to them if you want, but get them back in church. The man accepted the challenge with great enthusiasm. The pastor put the assignment out of his mind. He didn't expect much to come from it. But much to his surprise, about a week later, a letter arrived from a prominent physician, a man whose name was on the list. In the envelope was a check for $10,000 and a note that read, Dear Pastor, enclosed is my check to make up for my missed offerings. I am very sorry for missing worship so often, but please be assured that I am going to be present every Sunday from now on and will not by choice ever miss services again. Sincerely, Martin B. Jones, M.D. P.S. Would you kindly inform your new membership secretary who contacted me that there is only one T in dirty and no C in skunk? Right? Throw yourself into something that you're passionate about, and stuff will happen, Second step in finding a vision for your life, for your purpose, look at what moves you. Don't waste your time on anything that doesn't grab you. And then finally, third, look to be used by God. This is finally the last step in the process. Plainly stated, in the end, don't make yourself crazy trying to find your purpose in life. Instead, simply strive to make yourself available to God, to be put to use by God, and God will find you with the purpose for your life. That is, Don't look to find, but to be found. This is the final mistake that so many make. They think that like Moses, in the burning bush or something, discovering your purpose in life is something that is suddenly revealed to you in blinding clarity. But the fact is that such experiences are few and far between, even in the Bible. Far more often for the people of faith, as all evidence seems to indicate, discovery of one's purpose in life comes about far more often, almost, it seems, by accident. It's a bit fuzzy at first, and then with increasing clarity as one simply seeks to serve the Lord. And this is the final step, to simply seek to serve the Lord and let your purpose find you. And this requires one final thing. It requires putting yourself, in the right place. Specifically, it requires wanting something more, devoting yourself to something more than just living. It requires wanting to do something great for God. As a poet once wrote, "Life is a paper white, whereon each one of us may write his word or two, then comes the night. Greatly begin, though thou have time, but for a line be that sublime. Not failure, but low aim is crime." Not failure, but low aim is crime. Simply look to be used for great things by God. Always, everywhere, anywhere, any way you can, and God will find you with the purpose of your life. It may be something that changes the whole course of your life, or it may be something that simply changes how you live right where you are right now. But God will find you. A noted preacher writes, 30 years ago, a man by the name of Kevin Bradley was engrossed in the fast-paced, big-money world of Wall Street. A stockbroker living in Baltimore, Bradley and his wife Marilyn led a comfortable life at the height of the market boom. But every day, unbeknownst to him, God was seeking to draw him away from the rich to the homeless. He'd see them each day as he walked to the office, and he became interested. Gradually, he began to talk to them and to learn about them, and even to love the homeless people he met, eventually often taking them food and lending a listening, caring ear. I got really interested in who they were and how they got to where they were. In fact, over time, it got to the point where I found I was more interested in them than I was in my job, says Bradley. Now, he didn't particularly want to start a mission to the homeless. He really didn't know what he could do, but he felt God really tugging at his heart. So in 1991, after much prayer and Bible study, Bradley, with the help of his church, started the Community Outreach Center. And then sometime later, having quit his job to work at this new task full-time, they formed the Outreach Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping the homeless become independent citizens. In addition to meeting urgent, immediate needs, the foundation particularly offers the Wings of Life Skills Training Program, which was developed by Bradley himself, a program that provides counseling and training to help men and women channel their God-given talents and desires into productive careers. As a result, over the last couple of decades, Kevin Bradley has seen literally thousands of people get their lives back together. Needless to say, this change in career path has resulted in much less income for Bradley and his family, and they have invested much of even what they have back into the program and now live on much more meager means. But says Kevin with a chuckle, "There are times when I come home now, and we probably have less food in our pantry than some of the people that we're helping. But it's definitely worth it. I have never felt so rich. It is rightly said, it's easy to make a buck, but tough to make a difference. Yet that's where life is found." It may be something that changes, the whole course of your life, or it may be something that simply changes how you're living right now, right where you are. But let God find you with the purpose for your life by simply making yourself available to answer the call. And God will meet you there with the richest life imaginable. Somebody once said, if you don't decide what your life is about, it defaults to what you spend your days doing. Never ask, what reason do I have to be happy today? Instead ask, to what great purpose can I attach my happiness today? Make your life far richer, far more fulfilling, far more joyful than just existence, just coping with what happens. Instead, have a direction, have a vision, seek God's purpose for your life, and in this find life. Look at what is yours alone. Look at what moves you, and look to be used by God. Where there is no vision, the people perish. Let us join together in singing our closing hymn, number 585, This Little Light of Mine. Would you please stand?
Amen.